This is why I train in martial arts.
I have made the argument that one of the reasons I train is because I feel like I'm not really allowed to carry a weapon. I think if I do, even if I use it like I'm supposed to, I still could get some flack from the system. And when I say things like that, people tell me I'm hateful, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm being a pessimist, blah, 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 on and on and on. I'm trying to be a victim. I have an agenda. I'm just obsessed with martial arts. I'm going to let somebody else say it way better than I ever could. This is the expert on, one of the experts on stand your ground laws and concealed carry and all things having to do with the firearm, Mr. Massad Ayoob. I don't think he's a black person. So is he hateful?
We're not talking ancient history. We're talking things that have happened recently. Case in point, in West Des Moines, Iowa, October 29th of last year. A man named Jay Lewis, middle-aged guy, federal employee, works in an office, clean criminal record, so clean he has a license to carry a concealed handgun in public.
A version of me that's a fan instead of a contractor, basically.
Is attacked on the street by two men of another color. They decide it would be an excellent idea to physically assault him. He draws his gun. He orders them vehemently to stay back. They lunge. Disparity of forces in play. He fires. One man is shot across the pectoral muscle into the bicep and wounded. And the two of them decide, you know what? It's not fun being two coyotes on a bunny when the bunny shoots back. We're leaving now. Does anybody have a problem with that act of self-defense? Jay Lewis, the man who fired, was African American. His two attackers, including the one who was wounded, was Caucasian. The topic of race as it affects criminal justice in America is the topic for another day, at least for me. Jay Lewis was arrested. Jay Lewis was held on a six-figure bond that on an ordinary working man's salary he could not afford.
I couldn't afford that.
He stayed there rotting in jail. Meanwhile, the folks who owned the apartment building where he lived served a notice that said, ooh, we understand you've just been arrested for shooting someone. You are altogether too scary and dangerous to live among us. Consider yourself evicted. And they mailed it to him at his apartment address and posted it on his door at his apartment when they knew or should have known that he was in jail and could not receive them. And when he did not respond to that after the 30 days or whatever, they cleaned out his apartment, put his furniture, his clothing, his computers, including a novel he was writing, out on the front lawn to be stolen by whoever came by, and of course they all were. And after 112 days in jail, the prosecution dropped the majority of charges, took him to trial on the rest, and the jury said collectively, are you kidding us? And rendered the acquittal. Does that mean the system works? To an extent it does. The man was literally homeless, damn near penniless. That's not the way justice should work. It was to prevent things like that that political activists, civil rights activists, and I consider we have many levels of civil rights activists in here. Those who fight for gun owners' rights I consider to be civil rights activists as well. I remember that Charlton Heston, former president of the NRA, marched with Martin Luther King, who was also a gun owner. But their efforts have given us the stand your ground laws in many states. They are moving now to put that law in place in the state of Iowa to prevent the kind of injustice that Jay Lewis suffered.
Those of us that have Southern black grandmothers have heard some variation of the following impression I'm going to give. I call it the "you can't do like they do" baby speech. It goes something like, "Baby, you can't do everything like they do, baby, because you know you're not like them, so they're going to come down on you like they don't come down on them. You can't do everything they do, baby" speech. Something to that effect, basically. Please don't expect me to break out in the middle of a requirements meeting and do a impression of my Southern black grandmother. That's not going to happen. This is YouTube, where you have to have some sort of dramatic flair for people to watch your videos, okay? Don't get confused. So please check out the link in the description. I'm going to leave that talks in depth about what happened with Jay Lewis. And for those of you out there, I think we need to fight to get concealed carry to be applicable to everybody. And also, until then, as many gun owners will tell you, many gun experts will tell you, you also need to complement your gun skills. You need facilities in martial arts, especially if you have to be someplace where you're not allowed to carry the weapon in the first place. Yeah. Peace.